The following is a presentation of the World Baseball Classic.
To the warning track, gone! It's a new day on the international landscape.
Base hit into left field.
Diving catch, wow!
It is gone! Well, it's a beautiful Sunday morning here in Miami, and we're ready for day 2 in Pool D of the World Baseball Classic. A feisty team from Nicaragua will play for the second time, and meanwhile, the debut in this World Baseball Classic for the team from Israel. That's our first game of the day. Welcome to the World Baseball Classic from Lone Depot Park in Miami, and indeed our first matchup of the day, Nicaragua against Israel. In the middle of what is such a competitive, deep, and talented Pool D. Everybody looking forward to the play in Pool D even before this tournament got started. And day 1 certainly lived up to that billing. Puerto Rico, Venezuela, Dominican Republic, and then these two, Israel and Nicaragua. Hi, everybody. Dave Fleming, Yonder Alonso. Great to have you with us. It was a fabulous day 1. We had 2 really spirited games. Dominican gets the day off today, so we start off with these 2 underdog teams in the group. That doesn't mean they can't play.
It's a very important game. Look, I think for Israel is a must-win, starting the kind of the tournament off the right way. But for Nicaragua, this is a big test after facing a team like Puerto Rico, now facing a tough offensive team in Israel. It's going to be very expressive. But what I liked about yesterday, obviously we know what Carlos Rodriguez did against Puerto Rico, having them on their heels, but Alex Blandino turned out an absolute beauty at second base. I would like to see more of that and less of the mental mistakes they were making on defense. And of course, we got to talk about Elian Miranda, the young 23-year-old, had the swing of his career and of his life. I look forward to watching this guy go to work and hopefully do his thing against Israel. But look, no question about it, this team is excited and they have a great opportunity at hand.
I think the final score yesterday belies how that game got played. Nicaragua was real feisty, so we'll see how they bounce back today. Meanwhile, for Israel, 2017, they were a surprise team. They played pretty well, and their roster, I think, is more talented this time.
Yeah, well, look, we can talk about the roster all you want. This is a team that could have had an even bigger roster with Harrison Bader and Rowdy Tellez, but a guy that they do have in Jock Peterson, who's been playing in his first WBC tournament. This is a guy, a 2-time All-Star, a 2-time World Series champion, a guy who's had over 170 plus home runs. This is the guy that you want to key on if you're Nicaragua. He cannot beat you, but don't worry. His white pearls will make you shine and want big, bright lights.
He is one of the big personalities in the game. I think he's really excited to be here. Looking forward to his 10th Major League season. You gave the accolades. He can hit, and Jock Peterson is right in the middle of what is a very talented Israeli lineup. On the mound, speaking of talent, Dean Kramer gets the ball in game 1 for Israel. He had a really good year last year in the big leagues.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about watching Dean Kramer. This is a guy who lives 2 months out of the year in Israel. Guy with mid-90s fastball, a nice little cutter slider to go with his secondary stuff. He's just got to pound the strike zone. If he's able to do those things, he's going to have a solid outing.
And Ronald Medrano, the MVP of the Professional League in Nicaragua, so they're excited to give the ball to him. We're just about ready to start day 2 in Pool D. First pitch, Nicaragua and Israel coming up next. Some of the images from the last World Baseball Classic 2017, of course, the pandemic wiped out what would have been the World Baseball Classic in between then and now. Israel won 3 games in their first set of games. The format is a little different now, and it's created excitement for this year because they were the surprise team of the whole tournament back in 2017. So we'll see what 2023 has to offer. Israel is out in the field. Nicaragua will bat first here in the top of the first inning. Juan Diego Montes, Brandon Layton, Alegria, Colbert, Elian Miranda had the home run yesterday. Such an exciting moment. Novoa, Blandino, Bermudez, and Valle rounding out the lineup for Nicaragua. And they're going to face a guy who's had some big league success. You talked about him in the open. Dean Kramer's got a good arm.
Yeah, Dean Kramer's got a really, really good arm, but I'm excited to see the Nicaraguan offense go to work and hopefully make some adjustments. This is the team in the first game. They kind of battled and grinded their way through at bats, but I think against Israel now, their second game in, kind of got that blood flow going. It can be a little bit different.
Might be a little bit of an advantage for Nicaragua in that Israel had the first day as their day off. Everybody in the pool gets 1 day off in the 5 days where we play all the pool games, and Israel had day 1. So Nicaragua had a chance to play on this field in front of a big spirited crowd. Israel had to sit around and watch. So Dean Kramer getting warmed up and ready to go. This guy's got big league stuff. There's not a doubt why he had success last year with the Orioles.
Yeah, let's take a look at his pitch arsenal. We understand the four-seamer cutter. I think that's his go-to. He's going to be relying heavily on that four-seamer, especially at the top of the zone. His changeup is just more of a looking curveball to get quick strikes against left-handers, but his go-to is that four-seamer and that cutter, and at times when he needs a double play, we're going to see a little bit of the usage of the sinker, but no question about it, he's got to be around the strike zone and make sure he gets strike 1 first.
And the pitch limits are a big part of early round play in the World Baseball Classic. How efficient can you be? How quickly can you get outs? How deep in a game can a starter go, particularly when you got a guy as talented as Dean Kramer is on the mound? So here we go. Montes, Layton, and Alegria due up for Nicaragua. Day 2 in Pool D from Miami. And the first pitch for Israel in this World Baseball Classic is fouled straight back, a 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yeah, but I really like Juan Diego Montes right there, just seeing the first pitch and trying to start the party early.
We've already named him the mustache of the tournament.
It's quite unique.
He did.
And perfect.
He drew a walk, had a hit. He had a nice first game yesterday against Puerto Rico. I mean, Nicaragua came into that game a big underdog. And midway through the game, it was tied. Their fans were into it. And I think Puerto Rico was starting to feel some of the pressure. Some mistakes for Nicaragua cost them a chance maybe to win that game.
Yeah, they had a lot of mental mistakes defensively. A team that understands what, you know, after the press conference, after the game, they were saying, yeah, we let them just kind of hang around and we made some mistakes. We got to clean that up.
In the dirt with the breaking ball. So it's 1-2 to Montes. Israel's got a very experienced catcher in Ryan Lavarnway, a good player. He was the MVP of the group stage back in 2017. However, yesterday the challenge against Puerto Rico was so extreme in terms of trying to get the running game going. Could be a different story. That's how Nicaragua wants to play. We'll see if they can do that a little bit more here today. 2-2.
And when we talk about Ryan Lavarnway, we're not talking about a guy like Martin Maldonado with multiple gold gloves, but a guy that's going to do all the right things, going to be calling the right pitches, going to block all the balls, and no question about it, one of their leaders when it comes to the offensive categories.
He's kind of become a hero for Team Israel and their national team performances. That ball is skied in the air to center field, way up there. Jock Peterson, who's playing center field for Israel for out number 1. I do believe this is a question mark for the Israeli team because they can hit. They've got some guys with a track record of hitting in the outfield. Mendlinger, Peterson, and Dickerson, Stubbs, Kelly, Zach Geloff, good prospect. So is Matt Mervis. Lavarnway doing the catching.
Dave, I think for me, if you look at this defense and you're always concerned about, well, what ifs? There's a lot of question marks, a lot of things. Just got to read the pitcher, got to read the swings, and hopefully adjust.
Ground ball, tricky hop, and beautifully handled by Stubbs. The low throw picked out of the dirt by Mervis. I mean, Garret Stubbs is a catcher who started playing third base. Let's count him. 1, 2, 3, 4 days ago.
Well, question marks were answered right there. Got on top of it, got in front of it, squared his feet up, and a long one hopper. We would like to see him throw that ball kind of more on the chest high. More than not, though, you always tell your infield, if you're a first baseman, if you can throw it low, I'll give you a chance. If you throw it high, I can't out-jump the ball.
He's a good athlete. He's not a big guy for a catcher, but a good athlete, part of the Phillies team last year that made it all the way to the World Series. It's a little bit of a lonely job when you're JT Realmuto's backup. You're not playing a whole lot.
Got to find a way.
But here on Team Israel, he is the third baseman. That was an impressive start defensively.
Well, one thing for certain, he's got a good arm.
He does. Well, here's Alegria. We didn't see him yesterday. He's playing third base today. That's a change for Nicaragua. And there's Stubbs. Big personality. You saw the smile from his pitcher. I think that's all related to the fact that they're asking him to do something he's really never done. At least hasn't since he was a kid.
Well, if anybody knows good infield, it's Ian Kinsler, the manager for the Israeli team. He's a guy who's played all over the place, made his mark at second base, especially the years with the Texas Rangers. Guy who I played against. Hard-nosed guy. Grinded out at bats, grinded out years.
Great player. Manager for the first time. He was a star for Team USA in the last World Baseball Classic on the field as a player.
Yeah, a guy that won 2 Gold Gloves 2017 in that WBC, big home runs.
So Ian Kinsler, the manager for Israel. Kevin Youkilis on his left, another guy with a long, successful big league career, part of an experienced coaching staff. Another thing that we'll talk about as we go along, not just today, but as Israel plays in this Pool D. A lot of front office members around big league baseball have poured time and effort into preparation for this event with this team. They feel like they're not going to be outworked in terms of that prep. Fly ball center field. Jock gets back and makes the catch. That's a 12-pitch scoreless inning for Dean Kramer. Israel's World Baseball Classic is underway here in Miami. Back here in Miami, no score. Nicaragua takes the field, so Team Israel will come up for the first time. Garret Stubbs, who saw him make an excellent defensive play to start the game. Then Zach Geloff, Jock Peterson right in the middle of the order, one of the best sluggers in the big leagues. Mervis, Alex Dickerson. There's Lavarnway, his great track record from 2017. Horwitz, Mendlinger, and Ty Kelly round up the lineup for Israel. Against the right-hander Ronald Medrano starts for Nicaragua. His first pitch is a fastball for a strike.
You know, I know there's a lot of guys that we can highlight, but I really like Matt Mervis. This is a guy who, you know, led all minor leagues in RBIs with 119. So looking forward to watching him hit, take some at bats.
Outside.
Meanwhile, Medrano is not a famous name for big league baseball fans, at least, but he was the MVP of the professional league in Nicaragua. Showed a good changeup there.
Yeah, it's quick, and you can tell Medrano's got some pretty good location right now. Oh, it's the first batter, but he's showing some quality. He's just missing off the plate. Good changeup right there on that 1-1 count.
Garret Stubbs, a little slow roller toward third. Going to be a tough play. Barehand pickup. Throw is late. And Stubbs, who for a catcher runs very well, beats out an infield hit. So he's been in the middle of everything in the first inning.
Yeah, it's a good changeup, but it's a swinging bunt. Not much Alegria can do with that. And luckily right there, Colbert did a nice job by getting in front of it. Understanding that you're not going to have a shot, but I'd rather it be a single than a double on a throwing error. They're going to get down that line. He smells it. He feels it. Oh, it's a knock right away.
So the first hit for Israel, and now you get in the middle of the order where they do have some real pop. This guy, Zach Geloff, you're going to be hearing his name sooner rather than later. Takes a fastball for a strike. He is probably the best prospect in the Oakland A's system right now. Very athletic.
Had a great year in 2022 in AA and AAA. 18 homers, 66 RBIs.
Right-handed hitter against Medrano. And one thing about Medrano is you sort of question, okay, what's the level of competition in that Nicaraguan league? Well, he was impressive enough to where this spring the Kansas City Royals gave him a minor league contract, so the Royals have brought him into their organization.
And their pitcher of the year for the Nicaraguan league as well.
Oh, he dominated. He was the MVP of the whole league.
You know, one of the things I find interesting with Medrano is most right-handers are on the first base side of the mound. With Medrano, he's on the third base side of the mound. Usually that's more for a left-handed pitcher than it is for a right-handed pitcher. It gives a different optical. It's kind of like that ball's running away from you. It tells me that he's not really throwing that two-seamer to right-handers. He's going to go more with a four-seam cut to right-handers.
1-2. On the ground, hard hit, but right to short. That's one. And the throw to first in plenty of time. Double play.
Tailor-made, and it all starts with Medrano and executing the pitches. Living on the edges, relying on the ground ball and relying on the movement. It was a hard hit right at the shortstop, but it was tailor-made. That's exactly how you teach it. Good feed to your second baseman. Great throw to Colbert.
And it's nice to see Nicaragua just handle that cleanly. That was not a difficult play, but even some of the routine plays were not handled yesterday. It really cost them. So now Jock Peterson,
Ball.
who really is, I think it goes unnoticed by some. You know, Jock didn't have a great year defensively last year. He's mostly just a platoon player now. He hadn't had good numbers against left-handed pitching. Against righties,
A little different.
there aren't many who are better in the big leagues.
Oh, man.
Very big strike zone early on.
That's a very big right there. I'm telling you right now, with Jock Peterson understanding that changeup, he understands the strike zone. And right now, 1-1, he's not trying to get a base hit. There's 2 outs. He wants to bridge somebody.
There's a strike. And that's 2 really pitcher-friendly strikes. Not that one. That was a strike. But already in this first inning, we may have a sign that we could have a very big zone.
Oh, and I want to see if they use that, right? If they capitalize on that. If they're giving you that expansion, you just keep expanding.
Listen to the Nicaraguan fans. 1-2. And that hit him. Well, Jock Peterson gets hit.
And this first round, we've seen a lot of 2 strikes hit by pitches. Guys trying to surprise front-dooring hitters.
That worries you just a little bit. I mean, clearly he's fine, but you get hit right on that calf muscle. Sometimes you worry a little bit about maybe that tightening it up. He seems to be okay.
Not his first time he's gotten hit, I'm sure.
No.
They all hurt though.
Of course they do. It's 92 miles an hour. They call it hardball for a reason.
Well, they call this guy mash.
There's that big strike zone early on. This is the guy you circled.
I like this guy. He's hitting cleanup. Guys who's had great years, moved up 3 levels. Very hard to do.
Look at those numbers. Led all of minor league baseball in runs batted in last year. Everybody.
Inside.
So the Cubs are excited about him. I think we'll see him on the north side this year.
He's got to be able to win these 1-1 counts. So far, Medrano has been able to win those 1-1 counts with changeups.
That one is smashed into right field. A line drive base hit. Jock Peterson's going to try for third. The throw relayed there. Too late. First and third for Israel with 2 down here in the bottom of the first.
Well, it was a very hard hit ball to right field, but what I really like is the Jock Peterson secondary that he takes. He understands he's got to go 3. He's got to put pressure on the Nicaraguan defense by understanding what has happened in the first round in the first game of play against Puerto Rico. We see a good short swing right there, staying connected. But look at that secondary. And as soon as he sees it, he puts his head down, and he knows he's going from first to third right away, automatically.
I think it's pretty aggressive base running, though.
Especially with 2 outs.
With 2 outs. Beat the throw and the relay. So now Alex Dickerson, another guy who's had a track record of major league success. He's got plenty of power. Ball 1 to Alex.
I always liked a guy to go from first to third, especially with 2 outs, because it eliminates the hard breaking balls down to on the ground, right? Nobody wants to not block that ball and then it's a run. So most of the time you're looking for something up in the zone that you can handle.
That's a good point. So there can be an advantage. Sometimes you say, well, you're already in scoring position with 2 down. Why risk it? Why take any sort of chance?
It's the extra base because of the guy hitting.
And then if there's an error on the infield, if there's a wild pitch, as you're talking about, maybe you steal a run.
Got to be careful here.
2-0, good hitters count. Dickerson held up. Did he? Yes. No swing, says Andy Fletcher. 3-0.
A lot of time with the white barrels, with the white uniforms, is very hard to dictate if he does go or not, especially from 50 yards out.
That's ball 4. So Alex Dickerson draws the walk.
I always felt when I was wearing white uniforms, I used the white barrel. When I was wearing a dark uniform, I used a black barrel. Especially at night, a lot harder for the umpire to determine if I have a check swing or not.
So we got a meeting now, bases loaded. Israel has sent 5 hitters to the plate. 4 of them have reached base safely in this first inning. Against Ronald Medrano, who's in some trouble right away. And the guy coming up, I mean, this is the player for Israel who's turned into, in a lot of ways, the leader of their national baseball program. Ryan Lavarnway, who's had plenty of experience at the highest levels of professional baseball. He was their MVP. He was the group MVP in 2017. He plays in all their international events.
And a really good low ball hitter. You got to be careful right now with Lavarnway. He's not a guy that is going to go chasing pitches up in the zone.
Bases loaded, 2 down. And he takes ball 1.
Good take right there.
He's 35 years old now.
Yeah, sneaky pop, I like to say. I remember playing with him in Oakland. It's a guy that will do all the right things. If you make a mistake with him, he'll hurt you.
Played well in the World Baseball Classic, played really well in the Olympics. He's had success on the international stage. And what an opportunity here right away in the very first inning. 10 big league seasons for Ryan Lavarnway.
Regardless if they score here, I think Israel has done it. They've won this inning just by making Medrano throw 20 pitches.
I think they would also like to cap that off with some scoring.
Absolutely.
But putting big pressure, you're right, on the starting pitcher for Nicaragua. That one misses inside. A breaking ball. It's 2-0.
If I'm sitting dead red fastball right exactly where you like it if you're Lavarnway. This is a hitter's count. You know, where Medrano usually has a really good changeup and has had a good changeup. Trying to limit that fastball count. I think we're going to see another fastball here, though.
That is a fastball, and he got the call. 2-1.
Very friendly, very friendly strike zone.
Well, to your point, it's one thing to have that. It's another thing then to go ahead and take advantage of it. That's a ball. Well, there's nowhere to put him. A walk would force in the first run of the game. There's nobody warming up for Nicaragua, but they have to be thinking about their options now.
And for Lavarnway, you treat this like a 2-0, right? It's got to be perfect. If it's not perfect, just take it to 3-2. You're sitting dead red fastball. He hasn't really thrown you anything else other than that slider that missed up and in. You're thinking dead red where you like it, and if it's not there, you just take it to 3-2 and you battle.
3-1 pitch. Lavarnway might have chased. That's a pitch that's been called a strike. Now it's 3-2.
Now, what we talked about early on, he likes the low pitch.
Well, for the first inning, this is a very big moment Bases loaded, 2 down, and a full count. Medrano. Lavarnway strikes out swinging. He got through it. Israel threatens, but they do not score. We go to inning number 2. Still 0-0. Well, that was an eventful first inning. This is a big game for both these teams, trying to find a way to get a win, maybe put themselves in a position where if they could pull off an upset, who knows what happens in a group that is so strong. Pool D here in this World Baseball Classic. It's Nicaragua and Israel. Dean Kramer, who had a much less eventful first inning than his counterpart Ronald Medrano, back for inning number 2.
Well, I like the uses of fastballs and cutters he was showing in the first inning. But for Nicaragua, you got to feel good about the swings you were taking. A couple barrels. And I would think Chester will be taking a strike here just because it was a long inning.
Well, he went after that pitch and flies one to right. Alex Dickerson for out number 1.
And more than not, the reason you take a strike is because you want to give a breather to your starting pitcher. Threw over 24 pitches. When I say, okay, first batter, I don't want to have 2 pitches and make an out.
Sorry, Ronald.
Yeah, basically.
Didn't happen here today. Here's Elian Miranda, and what a cool moment for him yesterday against Puerto Rico, against Marcus Stroman, who was in the final moments of his appearance. It was a 1-run game. Miranda hit a home run to tie the game. Knocked Marcus Stroman, one of the best pitchers in the world, out of the game.
Hanging slider, did not miss it.
And this ballpark was alive after he hit that home run. 2-0 from Kramer to Miranda, who's the designated hitter for Nicaragua.
Well, if there's another moment here, could get a good pitch to hit. It's right now.
3-0. Spent some time in the Diamondbacks organization, and he's still only 23 years old. Took that one. It's ball 4. First base runner for Nicaragua. And they could stand, Yonder, to create a few more chances in this game. It was 1-1 in the 5th inning against a really good Puerto Rican team, but they only had 5 base runners in the game. And Puerto Rico's got really good pitching, but they need to. If it's not a team that is going to, for the most part, be relying on extra base power, they need to create some more opportunity.
Well, the way you do that, you say, okay, how do we create more opportunities? Right? It's by working the counts just like this, making sure you're running the right bases at the right time. Maybe hit and runs are keys to the Nicaraguan offense, but for me, it's simplifying it as much as you can, right? Making sure you can take care of your own, and when you're up to plate, getting good pitches to hit. But I have liked the swing so far. It's been a lot different than the first game against Marcus Stroman. These are good aggressive swings that they're taking. Not that many check swings. Guys are out there looking for one pitch in one zone, and they're going after it.
To Melvin Novoa, the catcher for Nicaragua. The foul ball.
All the little things matter. All the, from taking the right lead to taking the right secondaries to spoiling pitches to making a guy work. You're Nicaragua. You got to really focus on the basics. You're not going to rely on the 3-run homer like you were saying. Got to make sure you're clean. It's got to be clean baseball.
Got it. Foul tip held on by Lavarnway. Strike 3. First strikeout for Dean Kramer.
See that foul tip right there. One of the things I loved about Lavarnway's webbing on the glove was how loose it was for the foul tips. Usually most catchers have that webbing a little tighter, but for Lavarnway it's very loose back there, so that way he can have those foul tips and the balls don't jitter as much.
So here's Alex Blandino. He takes a fastball high. Alex has some of the most big league experience for a player on this Nicaraguan team.
This guy is not going to hit for slug a ton, but certainly average, like we're seeing there.
A little bloop single out into right center field. Miranda will make his way to third. And Nicaragua has first and third with 2 down after the base hit from Blandino.
Off contact, but hit at the right. There he is. He's feeling it. Hitting the right spot. Little baby cutter right there. Kind of gets on his hands. Stays through that baseball. Love the two-hand finish. And we got to go to third base right there.
Alex, who grew up in Palo Alto. His dad, Tomas, though, grew up in Nicaragua, so that's how he's on this Nicaraguan team. And he's got a base hit in the World Baseball Classic. Opportunity here, Sandy Bermudez, who had a couple good at-bats, I thought, yesterday against Kramer, and he lines that one foul for strike 1.
Very short to the baseball, is not trying to do too much. He gets probably even shorter with 2 strikes. A guy with no leg kick, just have a simple step foot down type of feel. What I've noticed about him, though, he's always swinging at the right pitches. And we see Molina right there, kind of letting him know a couple tips.
The manager, Sandor Guido, I thought he was doubling as the bat boy for a minute there.
Was, huh? Kind of letting him know what was going on. He can do it all.
Now Bermudez, new bat in hand. There's Sandor, big personality, so proud of this team being here. They had to really fight hard to qualify for this World Baseball Classic. Another side story to this particular matchup, you figure these 2 teams in this group are going to have a hard time. There's just so much talent.
Kramer shied away from his fastball.
Ground ball to second. Yeloff flips to second for the force out there, and the side is retired. The last place team in this pool has to qualify again for the next WBC. Well, we're here in Miami. This is Pool D. There's been so much stuff going on across the world in pools A and B, which got started a little earlier. Pool B dominated by Japan. Australia is likely going to finish in the number 2 spot in that pool. They're in good position to do so. How about Pool A? We're going to go into that in a little more detail. We saw those standings. Pool A play is now totally finished. All 5 teams finished 2-2. I said it yesterday. Hey, there's a chance there's a 5-way tie. It actually happened.
It happened. So now they go into explain the scenarios, right? You start with runs. Who scores more runs? Who has more defensive outs?
No, you you want me to explain this? Here's the 1-1 pitch to Spencer Horwitz. How much time do we have? Essentially, so in a 5-way tie, because you have the head-to-head records are all the same, so that you can't use the head-to-head records. The tiebreaker that was used in this instance was runs allowed, so it's essentially a defensive and pitching stat as opposed to a runs scored tiebreaker. So that's the first level of tiebreaker. And it's not just pure total runs, it's runs scored factoring in the number of innings that you played and pitched. And so after they did all the math, Cuba comes out as the number 1 team. So Cuba wins the pool, and Italy, because they beat the Netherlands today and beat them 7-1, that margin of victory proved to be very important in that math. Italy qualifies as the 2nd team out of Pool A because of that, essentially a defensive metric, runs divided by the innings that you play.
One of the things to look forward to is the mercy rule, right? Mercy rule is very important in this pool because you essentially want to play all 9 innings. You don't want to mercy rule somebody in the 7th inning because that might actually hurt you in the long run.
It's a strange phenomenon where you could benefit, and maybe, like a good example would be Puerto Rico yesterday. They went to the end against Nicaragua and won 9-1.
Right.
Could end up being good for them if we had a tiebreaker scenario in this pool.
One of the things, you know, we know all these rules, and the managers and the staff know all this rule, but do the players know? I bet you the players yesterday, I think they wanted to mercy them. Maybe Molina was saying, hey, we can't do that. We got to play all 9. It's a possible move or scenario that you kind of tell your players as you're going on, and you know, a game like this develops.
Well, whether there's any strategy involved or not, there could be a strange benefit if you play a few extra innings, and that could be the difference.
Yep.
The bottom of the 2nd here, Nicaragua and Israel. Israel mounted a real rally in the 1st inning. There's a fastball for a strike from Ronald Medrano, trying to make this a little less stressful in the 2nd.
Yeah, he needs a clean inning right here. He threw a lot of pitches in that 1st inning. I expect him to start attacking a little bit more of these hitters, not nibbling as much. Johnny Cueto act right there. We're seeing more and more of that with pitchers, how athletic they've become, where it's not just one scenario, right? It's, hey, I can give you different wedges, different irons, depending on what type of hitter I'm facing. Little Nestor Cortez act.
It can't be easy to do it effectively. You
have
know
to
what
practice.
you're doing.
Yeah.
You got to practice it. On the ground, Blandino into a slide, pops up, and no. Foot was off the bag. The first baseman for Nicaragua, that's Colbert today. He thought his foot was on the bag. Great effort by Blandino, but called safe.
That's a very tough play, especially for that first baseman. I think.
Did he get his heel back on the bag?
I think he missed it. He missed the bag. It's a tough play, especially for a guy that hasn't played much first base. Remember, Colbert is a corner guy, but he plays third base majorly. Especially a ball hit to your right, you kind of lose track of the base. Got to have a good feel around the bag.
Yeah, that's too bad, because that was a great effort by Alex Blandino.
And we talk about these teams, right? Giving away outs or possibly taking away a hit. Could be effective, especially here with 1 out. Now you got some speed on the bases.
It's Ty Kelly, the 9th place hitter, who comes up. And you got the top of the order looming now. There's a strike.
We talk about a Ty Kelly hybrid style in the big leagues. Mets and Phillies. 18 games at second, 18 games on left, 15 games at third base. I mean, he's played everywhere. A guy that can handle the bat pretty well at times. I never like doing hit and runs, especially with 1 strike. Like to do it first pitch, or maybe in a hitter situation like 2-1. More than not, though, in this situation right here, 1-1, he's gone to that changeup. Medrano really likes the changeup 1-1, especially to a left-hander here. Try to get that rollover. That's the difference about the changeup, though. You understand first base now is occupied. You're in danger of that rollover and making it first and third with 1 out. So you got to have that in your mind. And as a lefty hitter, you've got to have that in your mind as well, thinking I'm going to sit soft, but with looking out over with a fastball.
1-1 pitch, and he got the call with this big strike zone today. 1-2.
Yeah, it will be consistent all day.
As Michael Tibabijo is the home plate umpire.
I just keep expanding.
Yeah, test the limits.
I have to keep expanding, especially early on in this game.
Long pause here. 1-2. Fouled away.
Playing with fire right there. They're trying to sneak a two-seamer, front door him. Miss his spot down and away, but I would just keep expanding if I'm him. There's no need to test the waters. Yep. Get out there.
Another 1-2 pitch. Kelly drives that one foul. He's being a pest here.
And now we've seen 3 fastballs in a row with 2 strikes. I think the book is serious. We don't want to throw that changeup for the rollover. Problem is he hasn't really shown the breaking ball, so you're in danger of going 2-2 or spiking one. Maybe the runner gets to second base on a wild pitch.
Again, Medrano to the plate. And another foul ball.
That's Ty Kelly at his finest, spoiling pitches away. Making sure, understanding velocity is not going to beat you. He's not throwing 95, 96 miles an hour. We really got to respect it. He's trying to fight everything off, trying to use the other side of the field, trying to bloop one over the shortstop.
Took that one outside. 2-2. I mean, you say, well, that missed by a lot, but maybe not by the standards of this afternoon's strike zone.
It's always what they like to call when you ask them, where was that? He says the buffer zone. And I was like, well, what's the buffer zone?
It's a big buffer.
Know what the buffer zone is.
2-2. Change up low.
You got to send him here.
What an at bat here for Ty Kelly.
Ty Kelly's definitely shown he's been aware of the strike zone. He's got control of the strike zone.
This will be the 9th pitch of the at bat coming up here, and the 45th pitch of the game already. Runner goes, and it's very high ball 4. Ty Kelly works the walk.
What an at bat.
And a 9-pitch battle. He reaches base. Ronald Medrano's in trouble. Great job by Ty Kelly there.
Absolute great at bat right there. Grinding, understanding he's got to stay short to the baseball. That's a professional at bat right there, Dave.
Yeah, from the Nicaraguan perspective, it's a 9th place hitter, a guy who doesn't have a lot of power. You're thinking, man, you got to find a way just to challenge him, make him earn his way on base. Leo Crawford, a left-hander, has now started to warm up in the bullpen for Nicaragua. Garret Stubbs had an infield hit his first time up. Ball 1.
It took 45 pitches to make it through the whole order right there.
That's a lot.
He's got his work cut out for him big time. Well, we know one thing, though. He's got the arsenal to get a double play, to get a ground ball. The problem is he got speed all over the place.
The 1-0. Got the corner there. It's 1-1.
It's a really good pitch right there. Oh, now with the first baseman behind the runner, it's a good chance for that 1-1 changeup that he's been likes to throw. Try to get that double play, that rollover. He's been basically one pitch right here. He hasn't thrown anything else but fastballs.
Quick check of second, and right to that same spot there. 1-2.
You live and die there. If you're throwing that ball right there, if you're throwing that fastball down and away like that on the corner, that's unhittable. Not much you can do right there. Here's Stubbs. Stubbs got to understand now, hey, we're expanding. They're expanding. Everybody's expanding. We got to protect.
Stubbs, the leadoff hitter, playing in his first World Baseball Classic. His manager Ian Kinsler, his hitting coach Kevin Youkilis watching closely here. I think they know this is an opportunity. Lineup turned over. Second look at Ronald Medrano, who's had to work so hard. Got your big hitters lined up here. 1-2. That one misses inside, although the StatCast strike zone might have called that a strike. Part of that is he's been pounding the outside and didn't get the call there.
I think Novoa just wanted it a little bit higher to freeze him. He boxed it basically.
That might have cost his pitcher strike 3. Stubbs clearly was not looking for a pitch in there. 2-2. They set up back away, and Stubbs pops it up behind shortstop. Who's going to take it? It'll be the shortstop, Layton, making the call and the catch. The 2 down.
He made that quality pitch, that changeup we were talking about. He finally was able to throw one, and he threw a good one. You know, he's been battling, I know, with 50 pitches already through the second, but you know, he threw enough fastballs, especially well located. I think that fastball inside that kind of surprised everybody was the key go to go to that changeup afterwards. He was out in front. Still not out of the woodworks yet. It's a big moment right now for Zach Aloff,
who hit the ball hard his first time up, but on the ground right to the shortstop, and it turned into a double play. Real young players on Team Israel. It's going to be a great experience for him. This is the first game Israel had yesterday off. You figure they play Nicaragua today, and then you run the gauntlet. You play Puerto Rico and Venezuela and the Dominican Republic before this week is over. And the ballparks are going to be packed. The feeling will be really intense. You're facing high-level big league pitchers. This should be a productive week for this guy whom the A's think has a chance to be a real impact player.
There's one thing about the A's, though. If you produce, you'll get called up.
You're going to get an opportunity.
You absolutely.
0-1. Good swing.
Healthy
foul back.
Very healthy swing right there, especially 0-1.
Zach Aloff, who was picked in the second round only in 2021. He hasn't been a pro for very long. Good player at the University of Virginia. Ended last year at AAA. He's got a brother who's a good player. 0-2. 2 on, 2 out. Called strike 3. And Aloff can't believe it. Medrano gets out of it again. Still no score. You know, I've been really impressed with the fans from Nicaragua here in 2 days in Miami in this 2023 World Baseball Classic, because it's a baseball crazy country, but without a lot of track record history at this level of success. And yet their fans are here in big numbers again on Sunday morning after making a ton of noise yesterday in their game against Puerto Rico.
Oh, we were out here 9 a.m., 9:30, and they were outside that stadium ready to go, ready to party.
Oh, you were at least at 9 a.m.
Little croquetica, little cafecito, you know, Miami vibes.
Tomorrow, will you help hook me up, please?
I will hook you
okay. So third inning, still scoreless. Both teams have had some chances. Israel's had 2 great scoring chances. That one is lined toward left center field. Jock Peterson had it lined up all the way.
Smooth criminal. Doc Peterson right there.
And an example maybe, that was a good swing by Valle. Israel talked a lot coming into this tournament about the prep work they were doing in terms of defensive positioning. They were going to try to take advantage of it. He was well positioned. Jock, when he was younger with the Dodgers, he played a lot of center field.
He did. I mean, I remember playing my days against him when I was with the Padres, and he was damn good center fielder. Can go back on the ball, can go side to side on the ball. Really good arm.
That one's lined past the range of the shortstop. Ty Kelly just couldn't get there. Left center field, base hit for Montez. And this would be interesting. My guess would be that Montez is going to be looking to try to steal his way into scoring position.
Especially with the chances that Israel has had. If you're Nicaragua now, you gotta punch back.
Second hit for Nicaragua against Dean Kramer. They talked a lot about trying to use small ball to their advantage in this World Baseball Classic, and with Martin Maldonado yesterday, Montez got thrown out the one time they tried to steal. Fastball right down the middle for a strike.
Well, if you're Montez, you got to try to go in the first 2 pitches, I would think, so you can give the hitter a chance. But we know he's indie ball. He had 42 steals in 46 attempts, so he'll be looking to run.
That would mean going on this pitch. He doesn't, and it's fouled back. It's 0-2.
It's basically shut down right now. I mean, 0-2. You gotta make sure you give a chance to your teammate, to your hitter, and Leighton.
The mustache told him it's not the time to run. That is a good look.
You know, a lot of time with Montez, I've noticed he's kind of taking that walking lead at first base. It's not the same as when you're a second with the walking lead, but he's peaking and he stays upright and he's always moving his feet, and then he'll time it to go.
0-2. Got him with a fastball. Strike 3.
Good fastball up in the zone right there. Not trying to overthrow it. Just make the hitter think that he has got a chance on it. You see that ride, and more than not, the hitter will be way underneath that fastball.
So 2 down now. Montez still over at first base, and Benjamin Alegria comes up. Great spirit here in Miami. And if you didn't get to watch yesterday, our second game today will be Puerto Rico and Venezuela, and it will be that same feel that we had in both games yesterday. I mean, this one has that feel too. This is a great crowd here on this Sunday morning, but the Puerto Rican fans, the Venezuelan fans, they'll be going at each other.
They'll have their drums and their trumpets. Oh, he's ready.
Well, you can't get here too early, I guess. There goes the runner Montez, and a soft liner into right field. That's going to be a base hit. Montez will head to third easily. Dickerson's throw comes into second.
Oh, we got action. What a very beautiful piece of hitting right there by Alegria. Little 1-0 cutter. Just stays over the plate just too much, a little too much. He stays right through that baseball. A 2-hand finish. We got that stolen base, and he knew it. We're in action, first and third right now, to the point, to the dugout. Oh, he feels it. He's saying, let's go, let's go, let's go.
That was a pretty good pitch. That was just a really nice job by the third baseman for Nicaragua, Alegria, who's at first and third, 2 down.
Well, if you're Cobra, you're understanding this is a 2-pitch combo right here. Fastball cutter. That's basically what he's shown all game.
Goes after the first one with a big hack, and he fouled it back.
Yeah, that's a very healthy hack right there.
Healthy enough to where Lavarnway decided he needed to talk.
I think the play here is fastballs up in the zone. You got to be careful with Colbert, especially anything soft down. Kind of scoop it. The play is fastballs up. I think that's kind of been the play, especially against the Nicaraguans. It's been fastballs up in the zone when needed. especially, you know, Kramer, he's shown that he can locate that pitch, right? It's a sneaky, it's a tough, very dangerous pitch, because if you miss a little bit, you know, 2 feet down, it's a homer. There they go.
Went high with a fastball, but missed up there. Couldn't get Colbert to chase.
That's a pitch you want to later in the round, later in the at-bat, right? 1 and 2. Sneak them in, tie them up. Those are the windows you got right now if you're Kramer.
Good slider, 1 and 2. Well, Colbert, who won a World Series ring with the Kansas City Royals, one of the more experienced Nicaraguan players in big league history. One-two pitch, and he went strike 3 swinging. And some emotion from Dean Kramer to get through it. 2 hits, no runs, middle 3, no score. Well, the beautiful country of Israel, 9 million people packed into a pretty small slice in that part of the world, less than 1% of the Middle Eastern landmass, 21,000 square kilometers. And the beauty of the culture, the natural geography, including the Dead Sea, the lowest point on land on planet Earth, the shoreline of the Dead Sea.
You can float.
You can, I can, everybody can. Jock Peterson leads off in the bottom of the 3rd. No score, Israel and Nicaragua. And a new pitcher is Leo Crawford. So left on left here against Jock. Crawford misses ball 1. Pitched in the Frontier League, independent leagues last summer.
Very quirky action. Not a hard thrower.
One interesting thing, you pitch in those independent leagues, you got guys who maybe have had a longer career and are trying to hang on, get one more opportunities, guys who haven't yet gotten a chance. Jock on the ground to first for out number 1. But that particular team, Tri-City Valley Cats, last summer had Kumar Rocker after his.
He's not with the Rangers.
Yeah, it ended up getting drafted based on some performance there. It was an interesting setup to have a guy who considered very talented amateur player. So there were a lot of attention on that team from scouts last summer. Here's Matt Mervis. You can see why they'd use Crawford in this part of the lineup. 3 straight lefties. Ball 1.
Inside.
Mervis had a beautiful swing his first time up and
nice breaking
ripped a
ball
base hit
ripped
into right field.
I think for Mervis here, you want one pitch and it's got to be in that zone. Don't try to do too much with it, just like Jock Peterson tried to do right there with that fastball. You know, at times you're facing a guy like this and you think, oh, I'm going to take a chance here. But more than not, those are the guys that, you know, kind of you can fall off, you can get under a ball, you can roll over a ball. Still got to think about basics and trying to stay through the baseball.
Just an incredible minor league season last year. That's ball. He draws the walk. 4-pitch walk.
Let's get out bat right there.
And another base runner for Israel. They had 4 base runners in the first inning, didn't score. Had 2 more in the second. Now a walk here in the 3rd. You do figure if you keep creating chances at some point.
It's got to break at some point.
So now Alex Dickerson.
Talk about Alex Dickerson.
Goes after the first pitch, pops it up. Lay tone, 2 down. You can still talk
prior
about
to that season, you know, prior to that swing, he's had some big moments. I know you've watched him quite a bit with the Giants. I played with him with San Diego. Guy who's always had a knock for big homers and big swings.
He does. He's got a ton of just pure power. He's had a really hard time in his career staying healthy. He's had some back problems that cost him years, but when he's healthy and moving around well, he's dangerous. Not this time though. 2 down. And Ryan Lavarnway, the veteran catcher on this team. First righty against his lefty. Crawford, strike 1.
I know Lavarnway struck out his first at bat, but it was a good at bat. Got him all the way to 3-2. I like to see Ryan right here against this lefty. He's always been able to hit lefties. Just the way he takes pitches right now, you can tell he's comfortable when he faces a lefty. The aura, the demeanor on the box. I mean, you have to own it, right?
Talking about his international experience, not just great player in the last World Baseball Classic, but those Olympic numbers really impressive.
It's a good changeup right there.
1-2.
Well, we've seen something I've seen in this round. I've seen more 1-1 changeups where generally it's you see those changeups 2-1, or you see the breaking balls 2-1, not necessarily 1-1, but 1-1 has been your best pitch so far. Has been that changeup.
Barnway, just a little squibber, and it's going to be the catcher Novoa who throws him out. So just a walk and a solid inning for Crawford. We'll go to the 4th. 0-0. There is no doubt the greatest player ever from Nicaragua, El Presidente Dennis Martinez, who was here before the game to throw out the ceremonial first pitch. He always threw strikes.
He did. A lot of strikes.
Yeah, he's looking great.
I mentioned it yesterday, but the time I met him with my dad, and it was him and Levan Hernandez. They came to a little league field, and everybody was roaring about Levan Hernandez. And my dad grabbed me by the hand and said, "No, sir. You can say hi to Levan Hernandez, but the guy you're really gonna meet is El Presidente." And I got him to sign my hat, and it was a moment I'll never forget.
Smart guy, your dad.
Yeah.
First pitch swing. Elian Miranda pops it up. 1 pitch, 1 out for Dean Kramer. In this tournament with the pitch limits, those are always
very important,
very valuable.
Yes.
And it doesn't diminish the enthusiasm of fans from Nicaragua.
No, and I think for me, having this limit of pitches is obviously to protect the pitcher, but it's also good for the game. You know, it's like, hey, you're going right after guys. You know, we're not seeing, well, unless we saw yesterday in Luis Garcia, right, with 7 strikeouts in 3 innings. But other than that, they're going right after people. A lot of 0-1s, a lot of 1-1 count swingings. More action, love it.
Here's Melvin Novoa. Bounce to third. Garret Stubbs. Look at all the experience he has now over there.
He looked like a veteran right there. To Hopper, moved his feet well. Followed his throw right on the money. You see right there, look how squared up he gets. Moves his feet right over the throw. Follows his throw.
My guy who's a catcher in the big leagues, who basically has never played third, and wouldn't you figure, the first game of the World Baseball Classic for him, the second hitter of the game hits him like a tough hop, hard hit bouncer, and he handled it fine.
Oh, he's an athlete.
He is a really good
Put me
athlete.
in, coach, I'm ready to play, huh?
He's undersized by the standards of big league catchers, but he moves really well. 1-1 to Alex Blandino.
I think if Kramer can get under 50 pitches right here, it's got to be a win. You got to send him out for the 5th again. More than not, this is when, you know, Ian Kinsler's got to start thinking about, okay, what's my next move? Where am I going to go? And I know the bullpen's hot right now, but at some point, if it, you know, gets a ground ball right here, or gets out of this inning.
Blandino went around, so now the count is 2-2. Zach Weiss, the right-hander, warming up. Part of the Angels organization. Full count here, 3-2.
I think he's going to challenge him here. Not much messing around right now.
And he struck him out with a fastball. Did challenge him. So Dean Kramer, 4 solid innings on the mound for Israel. And this game here in Pool D, still 0-0. A beautiful scene here. We're not quite on the water inside this ballpark, but very close, and just a beautiful time of year to be in South Florida. In Miami, great host for the World Baseball Classic. Crawford still on the mound for Nicaragua. No score against Israel. We will have every round of the World Baseball Classic in this ballpark, including the semifinals and the championship game.
Day 2.
We're not going anywhere. Spencer Horwitz fouls it off to the left. It's 0-2.
Well, it's been early on with Crawford. He likes to use that changeup, then freeze you with the fastball. We're seeing a little bit of a shiftment right now. He was a little late on that fastball. Certainly, when you look at Horwitz, he's trying to let the ball get deep. He knows velocity's not going to beat him. Trying to use the whole field. Number 18 prospect for the Blue Jays system.
Drafted back in 2019. Struck out his first time up. Behind 0-2 here. Now it's 1-2. You have to give Crawford credit. I think his manager, Sandor Guido, clearly had him circled for, all right, middle of the order, left-handed hitter heavy. Those are some good hitters, though.
Yeah. Got a quirky delivery. I'll let that little 2-step. Then he goes.
Guy was part of a trade for Corey Knebel, who's a good established big league reliever. He's the coaching staff for Sandor Guido. That's going to be a tough play if it stays fair. It does, and he got him. What a play by Novoa, the catcher.
Novoa. That was beautiful play right there. Understanding the field, understanding that that ball's not going to go foul. More than not, you don't want to pick up that ball with your glove. You want to barehand it as a do-or-die play. As he's going towards third base, throws an absolute bullet and a gem to the first baseman, Colbert.
That one slashed to third. Off the bat of Mendlinger and caught for out number 2.
A really good defense. Something we did not see on the first day. Nicaraguan defense right now is stepping up and they're ready to play. One of the toughest things to do at the third baseman is getting a lefty line drive come at you. It surprises everybody. That ball caught him.
It did. That didn't look that comfortable, but
it is not that comfortable. It's those low liners. Made a great play right there.
Yeah, Alegria hangs on to the ball. 2 down.
And Crawford's feeling himself right now. A little 2-step, a little pause, throwing that breaking ball. And we're seeing Ty Kelly now switching over to the right side. Had a really good at-bat, long at-bat, 9-pitch at-bat.
Drew a walk his first time up here. He's behind 0-2.
He was behind 0-2 in his first at-bat. We'll see if he can pull that 9-pitch at-bat. Although Nicaragua and their fans, they feel it.
Will pause. Misses with a changeup. It's not Weiss anymore. It's Josh Wolf who's warming up and warming up, looking like he's getting ready to come in this game. Got him with the changeup. So Ty Kelly goes down swinging. What a job by Leo Crawford. Beautiful. 2 scoreless innings. Pitched very well. We go to the 5th in Miami.
All Now let's take a look at Dean Kramer and everything he did tonight. When he understood he was going to be a two-pitch pitcher, but he was using that fastball up in the zone, that slider, and that little cutter when needed it. I thought he had an outstanding day today. Just 3 hits for the Nicaraguans. He was money.
So he's out, and Josh Wolf takes over on the mound for Israel. Josh Wolf has a big arm. Now, the command, as you see from the strikeout to walk ratio, can be a problem for him. This is outside, and he's in a 2-0 count. Unleash the hair after you come out of the game, Dean Kramer.
I thought he did a phenomenal job with just basically 2 pitches.
Well, didn't get the call there. It's been mostly a big strike zone. That one called a ball, so it's 3-0. Josh Wolf now in the Cleveland organization. Wow, and that was close. Called a ball. Sandy Bermudez sold that one pretty well.
He did. As we see right there, he was taking all the way, just trying to sell it.
But considering how big the strike zone has been today, Josh Wolf might be feeling like he was getting squeezed a little bit.
I'll tell you what, right now, no out walks are no good for the Israeli team. And we play a little small ball, and we understand this is going to be a tight game. Especially a guy like Bermudez, guys who can handle the bat well. There he is.
Squares around to bunt. That's Valle, and he bunts it foul.
We'll look at all the called strikes that were outside the zone.
Yeah, all those pitches were called strikes, and most of them in favor of Medrano, who really seemed to be taking advantage of that. So that's where, if you're Josh Wolf, you're thinking, man, I was watching the game, I was paying attention.
Yeah. One of the hardest things to do
is to
square up to bunt, and he put down a dandy.
Wolf made the play himself. So there's the small ball we've been talking about, waiting to see from Nicaragua. The sacrifice moves a runner into scoring position.
Dave, it is so hard to sacrifice in today's day and age. A guy's throwing 95, 96 miles an hour is not really a move that you practice a whole lot. It's not a natural move. You're giving yourself up. The whole field knows you're giving yourself up. Look how soft he is with his hands. He just catches it with the barrel, lets the speed of the ball do all the work for him. Stays behind it, never on top of it. That's how you teach it right there. You got to catch the ball when you're bunting, not stab at it.
There are 2 things you said there. Number one, you get pitchers throwing harder than ever, so more big stuff, harder to bunt against. Number 2, teams just don't value the bunt. Players don't work on it very much anymore.
Tell you what, though, in tournaments like this, you have to be able to value that, especially in moments like this. Look, it's a 0-0 ball game, 5th inning. You know it's going to be a tie score. You got to play the right baseball, and that's usually the small ball.
Juan Diego Montes, he's got 2 hits already in this World Baseball Classic. Went after that high fastball. It's 0-2. That's going to be a tough pitch to hit.
Yeah, tied him up right there at 95 miles an hour. Not much he can do. I think he was a little bit in between after throwing him that slider first pitch. Wolf's got many windows to go with right now. I mean, he can spike it. He's got to trust his catcher. He can go up the ladder once again. I really like the slider, though.
0-2. Through the slider. Montes, give him credit, wouldn't chase.
That's a tough pitch to lay off right there, especially after throwing 95 up in your wheelhouse. The situation right here, you got to stay short. You got to trust that, hey, it's okay to break your bat. Blow it up, use your wheels, use your speed. There's an open hole right there towards second base.
Well, he did just trust Lavarnway, who blocked it. That keeps the runner Bermudez at second. But from 0-2 to 2-2, Montes not chasing those sliders.
Do you take a crack at another fastball up in the zone and just challenge him? You got to trust the fact that you know Wolf can be a little bit erratic.
2-2. He got a piece of that high fastball at 96.
Playing with fire, though. That was a very short swing right there. Tail not pulling off. Nice and connected.
Well, you can tell Josh Wolf, and this is his first World Baseball Classic appearance. He has not pitched above A ball in his professional career.
What a moment.
It's a big stage for young Josh Wolf, only 22 years old. Tie game, middle innings. Two. Slider almost hit him. Came inside. Now the count is full. 3-2.
It's a situation if you're Sandy Bermudez at second base, your secondary's got to be key. Any base hit to the right side, there will be a play at home plate.
3-2. He got it with the breaking ball right on the outside corner. Just perfectly executed pitch.
Very well executed. Too close to take right there. The book was called. I mean, it was fastballs up with sliders down and away. Wolfie executed perfectly right there. Not much he can do.
So Montez called out, and now Leighton comes up. Still an opportunity for Nicaragua to take the lead.
That's a tough situation. That's going with your scouting report and saying, hey, I'm going to gear up for the 95, and if he throws me a slider, I'm going to bet that he'll throw it for a ball. Sure enough, he spun it. It was a good pitch.
Sometimes you have to give the pitcher credit.
Not much you can do.
Leighton fouls that one off to the right. Fastball. Josh Wolf trying to get through this. Wolf was part of a very big trade, originally drafted by the Mets, but the Francisco Lindor deal, they brought Lindor from Cleveland to New York. Josh Wolf was part of that trade. That one is hammered to left center field, and that one all the way up against the bottom of the wall. Bermudez will score. Rounding second, still going. Here's the throw, the tag. Out at third. Leighton knocks in the first run of the game and then gets thrown out at third base. Nicaragua's taking a 1-0 lead.
Well, there's no secret for Leighton's success at the plate. In the qualifiers, he had a huge tournament, and he has come up very, very big for the Nicaraguan offense and team. A 1-0 lead right now. Yeah, he was out. We'll be back.
Now Nicaragua takes the lead here against Israel. A slider that was up, and Leighton did not miss it.
He did not miss it at all. Hanging slider. I think Wolfie threw too many of them.
Foul ball. This is the top of the order for Israel. Stubbs trying to bunt his way on base. See if Israel can get the offense revved up. This is an Israel team that is counting on its offense producing in this World Baseball Classic.
That Garret Stubbs single in the first was a swinging bunt towards the third baseman, which was really no play right there. He tried to push right there, which I love that play, especially in the first pitch of the inning leading off.
Left on left with Crawford still in there. Why not? Crawford's done an excellent job. Now a foul ball. It's 0-2.
25 pitches. Using that fastball changeup, a little quirky. Really has all the lefties in limbo right now. In between, a lot of late swings, a lot of early swings as well.
Stubbs had a better swing there.
A lot of these, especially Crawford, you know, he quick pitched him right there. He's paused. He's done a lot of different deliveries. Very tough for a hitter to adjust.
Another one of those little hitches. Stubbs pops it up behind home plate. Navoa had time to get there. Crawford gets another out.
I mean, he's 3 changeups in a row right there. Ball just completely sinks under your hands. Not much you can do with it. See that change up, little split change. And it's just riding and riding and riding into your hands. You think you're gonna crush it and you really don't. It's got a glue magnet to your hands. It's too late when you're already halfway through your swing.
Well, off the outside to Zach Geloff, who I think is feeling a little picked on in terms of the strike zone. Several of those pitches that have been out of the zone that have been called strikes have been when he's been at the plate.
Well, that's a healthy hack 1-0 right there, ain't it? He's got a good swing, short, compact.
And he's got plenty of power. He could tie this game with one swing.
He just looks like an Oakland A's player, huh?
The 1-1. Lined to second. Right to Alex Blandino.
Dave, you know what they say, good hitters, they line out quite a bit. For Crawford, had his guys set up on the right place right there. But look at this rocket right now that was hit right at him. Well, you got to give credit to the Nicaraguan defense too. They've adjusted. They've made some good plays. They're in the right spots at the right time.
Well, they have played a lot better defensively in this game than yesterday. Alex Blandino, I mean, that came right to him, but he's had a nice defensive game.
Yes.
So now Jock Peterson, second look at Crawford, left on left. Jock takes a strike.
It's a good strike right there. Well, his last at bat when he faced Crawford, he rolled over on a ball to first base. See if he can make the adjustment and stay through the baseball. We know velocity's not going to beat you, Jock.
He beats the defense with a foul ball. Oh my goodness.
Man,
I thought that was fair.
I thought that ball was fair.
Wow, you can't.
Oh boy.
You can't review that. I think Ian Kinsler's going to ask Andy Fletcher maybe if the home plate umpire can help him out. And I think Andy's.
Yeah, he's calling him. This ball is fair completely.
I know
that's over the bag.
Yeah, and it even hit the line.
Hits the line.
I think that's basically impossible. Of course, fair foul is not determined on a ground ball about hitting the line beyond the bag, but I think it's impossible for it to hit that line if it wasn't actually fair. Yeah, that was pretty clear. I know we're a long way from the action. Andy Fletcher's a lot closer, but from up here, I thought clearly fair.
I thought clearly it was fair as well. You know, the problem is too is that could have been a double, but it can get quirky down there in that corner. Balls have been getting stuck on the lines. They gave him a double.
Okay.
And you know what? They got the right call. It was the right move.
On a ground ball fair foul on the infield, replay is not available. So it has to be the umpires getting together to talk things through. And ultimately they did get the call right.
Yeah, they got the call right. It's a very good job by the umpire crews to get together right there.
So Jock Peterson and Alex Blandino, two kids who both grew up in Palo Alto, talking to each other around second base. Jock beat the shift.
You know, that's how you beat it though. A guy that doesn't have that much velocity, he made the adjustment from rolling over to a ball to then understanding, hey, I have to get beat here. I have to hit the ball the other way. That's a professional hitter. That's a guy that's had 170 plus home runs in his big league career. He knows how to adjust.
Bullpen is working. That's Osman Gutierrez.
At some point, they got the big horse back there in Loaizaga.
Now they have a lead. There's a part of me that's a little surprised that he's not the guy who's getting up. Now maybe with 2 outs already in the inning.
He's a guy that will give you multiple. You just got to bridge it to the 8th inning.
Matt Mervis takes strike one. He walked against Crawford in the 3rd inning, so he's seen this pitcher in this game.
If I'm Sander Guido, I'm just thinking about 6 outs. How can I get 6 outs to bridge the gap to Loaizaga?
Chance for Israel to tie the game right here. Mervis hits it foul, and now he's behind in the count 0-2.
You know, one of the things I try to do when I face a left-hander is really eliminate one side of the strike zone, and that for me was always inside. I always felt like umpires behind the plate, they didn't really gauge for lefties balls inside, so I always covered the outer third. Right now, Crawford's really gearing up on these lefties and getting on the hands of them. Let's see if he can pause him here and mess with his timing.
Tying run at second, 2 down, bottom 5. 0-2. Another foul ball. He went back in.
And one thing too is to show in, and one thing is to locate in. He's done both. He's shown in for balls, and the lefties that keep being aggressive and swinging. But you know, that's a well-located ball, 0-2 right there, right on the line. Not much you can do but fight it off. You've sped him up. Breaking balls here are good. There doesn't have to be a strike either.
0-2. That one is hit to left center field. Montez tracking, and he'll be called off by Valle, who makes a catch. Leo Crawford, just fantastic. 3 shutout innings for Nicaragua, and they lead 1-0. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of World Baseball Classic, Inc. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent. I have to admit, I kind of miss the home run sculpture being inside this ballpark. I liked it.
No, come on.
Yeah, I mean, now all you get is a logo out there. Benjamin Alegria takes ball 1 from the new pitcher.
It really felt out of place.
We're in Miami.
Yeah, but it was really out of place. We're at a baseball field.
Zach Weiss takes over on the mound.
Art Basil's a big deal here in Miami, but you know, we're at a baseball field.
I enjoyed it personally. I admit it. I'm kind of on my own little island there, but when a Marlins player would hit a home run and the whole thing went off, I look forward to it. That's the first thing I look for. I want to see the flamingos and dolphins spinning around or whatever it was.
That's about right. I mean, you really are on it. You have looked at that art to the teeth of it.
Alegria's got a hit today. 3rd pitcher of the game for Israel, Dean Kramer, then Wolf, and now Weiss.
And drafted by the Reds in the 6th round. 2013 MLB draft out of UCLA. A slider 4-seam guy. Last year, 15 out of his 18 strikeouts came via that slider, so we can see another one.
Helped UCLA win a national championship when he was in college.
Oh yeah,
real good slider for strike 3.
That is sharp. That it's in that tunnel. You don't understand if it's a fastball or a slider coming out of that hand. Oh, it's sharp. It's sharp. It's as sharp as his cleats right now, and he's got some dandy ones.
Finally got a more extended chance. I mean, he didn't pitch a ton for the Angels last year, but it was his best year in terms of getting an opportunity at the big league level, and he pitched pretty well. Tolbert 0 for 2.
Nice clean delivery. Explosive.
Ripped down the left field line. Foul.
That's what that slider does to you. Look at those things right there. Huh? That's art right there, Dave.
See,
that's what I'm talking about.
You didn't like the home run sculpture, but you like those. I'm sensing a disconnect.
Unique New York. I mean, look at those laces too. The way he's got them. Yeah. So they're not all over the place. Very controlled environment under your feet.
It's a man who pays attention to the details.
Those are nice. I'll tell you what, he's got a good slider, man. Think you're on it as the right-hander. and then you're not.
The 1-1. Colbert took that slider.
What's the best way to not hit sliders? Hit the fastball. Get the old number one. Can't miss.
He got the fastball, hit it hard, but very well positioned defensively. That's part of what we've been talking about with this team from Israel. All the prep work they put in before this tournament, they knew right where Colbert was going to hit it.
Yeah, right out there. Good barrel. 100+ miles an hour off the bat, but got people there.
Zageloff was positioned perfectly. Now, of course, once the major league season starts, that will not be allowed, the overshifts. But here in the World Baseball Classic, we're playing with 2022 MLB rules. And Israel just figured, well, okay, let's take advantage of that.
Might as well.
A lot of folks from front offices around the game devoted a good chunk of time to the preparation leading into this World Baseball Classic. And the way I understood it was almost like, okay, so a front office member from one team volunteered. Yeah, I'll help you out. Okay, you get assigned Nicaragua. You scout their team. You come up with our defensive game plan for their hitters. And then somebody else would take another one of the potential opponents.
That's amazing.
Sort of divided it up. Because all those people have regular jobs too that are demanding, and this time of year is
they got to take care of their teams.
It's about the busiest time of year.
Well, I'll tell you what, you know, both of these teams, they played a crisp, clean game. Pretty good pitching.
There's the slider. Zach Weiss, he's got a good one. Midway through 6, can Israel get the offense going? Well, our next game today here in Pool D in Miami, 7 Eastern, so they'll clear the ballpark. A whole new set of fans will come inside, and they will be loud and intense. The two winners yesterday in Pool D, Venezuela and Puerto Rico, huge game. All right, so if you got to wait for the ballpark to clear out before you can come inside, that's a pretty good way to kill some time.
Definitely a good. That's the Miami way. You can see that in Little Havana. You can see that in Kendall or Doral or the Grove. Anywhere there's a Domino's table.
Just put us up on the app, watch us, and then play some dominoes.
I like that.
Get ready for tonight. Alex Dickerson. Leo Crawford is still in the game for Nicaragua. He has just pitched so well. Dickerson pulls one into right field, base hit. So Alex Dickerson gets the bottom of the 6th started, and that, it's possible, will be the last hitter for Crawford. We'll see. You got a right-handed hitter, Lavarnway, coming up, and I do think that the manager, Sandor Guido, is going to come out and make the pitching change.
Yep.
You understand the reasoning there. Okay, Alex Dickerson, they're not going to pinch hit for him. Get the left-on-left matchup and give Dickerson credit. He beat him.
106 miles an hour off the bat.
So Crawford, who that should not take away, just was great today. Pitching change coming. We'll be back right after this. Ryan Lavarnway is going to come up here in the bottom of the 6th inning for Israel. They trail Nicaragua 1-0. They need a big hit. Ryan had a lot of them in the World Baseball Classic in 2017. He was the pool MVP. Israel swept through that initial pool. It's a different format back then. Tournaments changed just a little bit. Israel picked up 3 straight wins in those early games, and Ryan Lavarnway was the biggest reason why. He's 0 for 2 in this 2023 World Baseball Classic so far. Israel had yesterday off. Osman Gutierrez. So Lavarnway, a big-time international hero for the Israeli baseball program. Osman Gutierrez did awesome work in helping Nicaragua get here. They would not be here without him. So
9 shutout innings. I mean, that's fantastic right there. Went 2-0, 6 strikeouts and a walk.
We'll see if he can duplicate that now in the real deal. His World Baseball Classic debut right now. And He starts things off with a fastball for strike one.
Talk about Ryan Marnway and what he did in over 444, homer, 2 doubles, 6 RBIs. I mean, all he's done in tournament play has been rake.
Foul ball, and now he's behind at the count 0-2. Alex Dickerson started this inning off with a base hit, so Gutierrez inherits the base runner. This was in October. This was in Panama. These are pressure games. Nicaragua trying to qualify and get in. They had never played in the World Baseball Classic until Gutierrez helped lead the way.
You always need one guy in that staff that can do those things. Kind of grind it out, do all the dirty work, and he's been that guy for them.
He's a big dude on the mound. This is low with a fastball.
One thing I'm noticing too is the action that he's getting on that 2-seamer. I mean, it's a bowling ball coming at you. And if you're facing a guy like that, a big dude, a guy who the ball kind of gets on you with a lot of sink and dive, you got to see that ball kind of to your chest. It's got to start at your chest for you to have some action on it. Anything underneath your chest, you got to let it go because it's going to dive down into your hands. The ground ball is the play here for Nicaragua.
Marnway strikes out swinging. And Gutierrez gets him.
Marnway got the right pitch, just missed it. Too much action, too much movement right there, especially late on. We see that 2-seamer. Look how much it dives on him. You can tell it's quirky, is right on you. Marnway did not look comfortable at all during that whole at-bat.
So now left-handed hitter Spencer Horwitz got robbed by Alex Blandino, or by the catcher rather, Novoa, last time up. Horwitz hit that little swinging bunt. Novoa made a good play against him. Takes ball 1. Part of the intrigue in this game, not just a chance to get a win and maybe put yourself in a position to pull off an upset, and who knows what happens, but these pools of 5, we just showed you those videos of the qualifying games. That's ball 2. The top 4 teams in each pool this year will not have to qualify for the next World Baseball Classic. But if you finish last in your pool, you go back into that qualifying group. And in this pool with Venezuela, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, the loser of this game has a chance to be that bottom team and have to qualify again. Kind of a wild swing and miss, 2-1. Anyway, just that is definitely not on the minds of players, but I do think it's an important side story to this game here today.
Oh, the players understand what's at stake. Yeah, they realize this. You know, you want to win every game you have to play in this tournament, but they understand what's at stake. They understand who their opponents are, and this is a must-win for either club.
That one came inside and hit him. It got him, the breaking ball. So Horwitz, who was behind, kind of looking less than comfortable in the batter's box, instead will get to first base, 2 on 1 out.
Yeah, just trying to locate right here. A good 2-seamer down and in. Gripped it a little too tight.
So now Noah Mendlinger, the left fielder, who's got a hit and a line out in 2 at-bats. They're going to talk about things.
It's a good mound visit right here. Kind of slow him down a little bit. Breathe it out.
Also buy a little time to get a couple of pitchers warmed up. A lefty and a righty. Yesterday it was the starter who shined for Nicaragua. When the bullpen took over, they really struggled against Puerto Rico. Today, I mean, their starter, give Medrano credit, didn't give up a run, but only went 2 innings, was in trouble the whole time.
Over 50 pitches right away. Was in a pickle in the first inning with bases loaded, got out of it.
And today when we're talking about the bullpen, mostly it's just Leo Crawford. He was really, really good. 2 on, 1 out. And ball 1.
Well, if you're Gutierrez right here, you are dying with a ground ball. If you're Noah, you got to elevate, elevate, elevate. Nothing down.
Now time at home plate.
And more than not, when you're facing a sinker baller like that, you got to try to use the other field. The reason for that, if you're out in front, you're more than not, you're going to roll over. It's very hard to keep that swing path and pull the baseball with a sinker baller. It's a lot easier to hit the ball in the air on the other side of the field.
He got hit. That one came inside and got Menlinger. So back-to-back hit by pitches, and the bases are loaded.
Kids at home watching, that is the correct way to take a pitch when it's coming right at you. You just turn into the baseball. Gotta think that's enough, yeah.
Well, so what have you done for me lately? Sport and tournament just didn't have his command and sharpness, and the lead is on the line. Pitching change. In Miami, the big league home of the Marlins, host of this World Baseball Classic in 2023, and a pressure spot for Team Nicaragua playing Israel. Second day in Pool D. Carlos Tejer has been around a long time. 36-year-old left-hander, tons of professional experience all around the world, and he inherits a mess. The bases are loaded with one out. Gutierrez, who was the hero in the qualifiers for Nicaragua, just did not have a lot of sharpness. Got a strikeout, but then hit back-to-back hitters. And with the bases loaded, I think Sandor Guido just could not take a chance that another hit batter or wildness would tie the game or worse. So now we may have a counter move for the team from Israel.
Danny Valencia.
Danny Valencia is going to hit. This is a good spot to use Valencia. You know, he gets an at bat against a lefty, he can do some damage.
Yeah, he's basically made his career in the big leagues hitting left-handed pitching. A guy who can slug, a guy who overall is a good hitter, using gap to gap, likes the ball up in the zone, likes off speed as well.
Matchup against the lefty here. Bases loaded, one out. Israel down by a run, playing their first game in this World Baseball Classic, and a ground ball to short, could be two. There's one. Blandino's throw, got him, double play. One pitch, 2 outs, and Tejer, understandably so, is pumped. Nicaragua still leads 1-0. Well, you can't do a better job than Carlos Tejer did coming into a game with the bases loaded.
One pitch, get a double play. That's what the doctor ordered. Taylor made, and look how proud and how pumped he was.
I mean, that is cool to see. That's a guy who signed his first professional contract 19 years ago. Wow. He's been around forever, and that's what this World Baseball Classic means to him. And Team Nicaragua playing in this event for the first time, trying for their first World Baseball Classic win. It's 0-2. A new shortstop after using the pinch hitter. Michael Wilansky is now out to play short.
I think if you look at Israel and what they've done today, 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position. They've left 9 runners on. You look at the kind of the storyline of this game so far. They've had their chances even since the first inning, leaving a bases loaded jam, getting out of it. But other than that, they haven't done anything.
Shallow center field. Jock Peterson, plenty of time to get there and make the catch. Zach Weiss on the mound for Israel, retired the side in order in the 6th. Here's Blandino. 1 for 2 at the plate. He's done a good job turning the double play today. Nicaragua, and that you've talked about it a couple times already. They did not play well defensively yesterday. They were charged with what, 1 error officially. They could have had 4 or 5.
Absolutely, 4 or 5. And I think even today, you know they have 1 error, but it was more of a miscue at first base. Other than that, it's been clean cut baseball right now.
And that's the formula for a team that doesn't have a bunch of big league sluggers who are going to knock the ball over the wall.
Got to play good defense. Got to play good defense. Got to run the bases right, which they've done today.
And, you know, they have pitched well.
They have.
Puerto Rico yesterday, and the final score was 9-1. They did have 11 hits, but it was not a barrage of hard hit balls. Blandino hits that one to right. Alex Dickerson lining it up.
And I think for an extended of Nicaragua too, when that game got out of reach, they didn't put their horses, right? Horses that we know of, the horses that are probably going to come into this game today. They understood, hey, we got to take care of business the next day.
Two down. Bermudez drew a walk and scored the only run of the game so far. 1-0 here in the 7th.
Well, one thing I've noticed with Michael Divavijo, the home plate umpire, he's made an adjustment. He's been a little tighter. First couple innings was a little wider. So far, he's kind of made that adjustment.
Yeah, that might be an understatement. A little wider. It was a massive strike zone early, but you're right. It has tightened up a little bit. Most I think would say the number one thing for an umpire, just be consistent, set your zone, and make sure everybody knows exactly what it's going to be. In the case of this particular game, it was too big early.
Yeah, it was, and that, you know, he honed it down. And generally, just not only for him, but the whole crew. I mean, made some mistakes, gathered their thoughts, reversed some calls, and man, that was a good slider right there.
Dak Weiss has a great slider. Another strikeout for him. Nicaragua goes down in order. 7th inning stretch, 1-0. It's been a really fun game. First game of the day in Miami. Second day of Pool D. 1-0 Nicaragua. Tejer stays in the game. And strike one to the leadoff hitter, Garret Stubbs, for Israel. Stubbs has a hit in 3 at-bats, left on left. And now he's behind in the count 0-2.
One thing we've seen this whole game is really good pitching out of the bullpens for both teams. Very good defensive plays as well. To be honest, not much hitting. 8 hits overall by both, in general, for both teams.
Yeah, and that's not to say that the teams haven't had chances, especially this Israeli team. 0-2. Foul ball, because they've had the 4 hits, but also have drawn 3 walks and had 3 batters hit by a pitch. So the double plays been huge. Grounded into 2 double plays. Those have been big plays in this game. And even with those, they've left 9 men on base in 6 innings. They've left 6 of those 9 in scoring position.
Well, we see Teller kind of a mirror of Crawford. Not much velocity, just kind of moving and dicing his way through the lineup and through these hitters. Working a little bit away with some fastballs, a little changeup, a nice little cutter slider.
Oh-2 in the dirt.
Go ahead.
I was going to say this is a big at bat because you got the power hitters lined up after this.
Well, especially Gelov, who's been on a tear, hasn't had that much luck, right? He's hit the ball over 100 miles an hour a couple times already. He's that guy that can get things started.
1-2.
That's a good take right there. That's a strike out of the hand. I'm not trying to do too much right now, especially with 2-2. Want to trust your hands, trust your eyes. Make sure you get a strike first before you go.
Stubbs, liner to first, and caught by Colbert.
Boy, that ball's got a magnet for the Nicaraguans defense, huh? Everything they've hit, somebody's been there. It's been that type of day. for the Israeli hitters.
That's at least the third hard hit line out right into the Nicaragua defense. So 1 out, still 1-0. Bases empty for Zach Geloff. Went after that first pitch, fouled it away.
I've been very impressed with Geloff. Good body, short to the baseball, very compact, soft landing when he loads. That's all you want to teach in a young hitter in his swing. It's a good change. Good two-seamer right there. Good movement, good action. A little bit different than Crawford. Teller is on the first base side of the mound. Gives that good deception, that good sink action. A little tougher for the left-handers. I always prefer lefties to be on the third base side of the mound, not the first base side of the mound.
0-2.
Oh, they wanted a ball.
If that had been called a strike, Zach Geloff might have just walked off the field and back into the clubhouse.
Been in trouble.
Because he's the guy who I think really has been a couple really pitcher-friendly strikes against him. 1-2. Did he go? Yes, he did. Home plate umpire made the call himself. I'll throw to first to complete the putout, but that's a strikeout.
They made some quality pitches right there, especially in that at-bat to Geloff. Couple good fastballs, couple good two-seamers. Finish him off with that slider down and in. So you see that there, you see the turn on that ball. Good block. All the little things are going the right way for Nicaragua. Got to be careful with Jock right here.
Definitely has the power to tie the game with one swing, even though almost all of his power in the big leagues comes against right-handed pitching.
And one thing about Jock too, he's watching the game. He's a guy that likes to sit on pitches.
He drives that one to right, coming in and catching it is Bermudez. Carlos Tejer, along with Leo Crawford. Tremendous work out of the bullpen. 1-0 Nicaragua. Never gets old, that view.
Key Biscayne Bridge.
You've been on that one a few times.
I have.
From the beach here to downtown Miami, that's where we are. Inside Marlins Park. Lone Depot Park is now the name of this ballpark. The home of the World Baseball Classic. Richard Blyer now takes over on the mound for Israel.
Yeah, a guy who's low career strikeout rate, but also low career walk rate. This guy's not going to walk that many people. He's going to pitch to contact. He's had really good career with the Marlins.
Yeah, I would say the best success in his big league career is in this city, in this ballpark. Now that's pretty cool, isn't it?
Look at that.
That's the lineup card for Israel. And that's got to be Jerry Narin, isn't it? Don't you think?
It's got to be.
I think Jerry Narin's known for having very good penmanship.
That's pretty nice right there.
But I didn't know he was multilingual with his calligraphy. That one is blasted down the left field line, hooking toward the corner and foul. Close to home run distance, maybe, for Dwight Britton, who's hitting here in the number 9 spot against Blyer. We're talking about Kevin Youkilis, Ian Kinsler, Brad Ausmus, and Jerry Narin are sharing the bench coat. I mean, that is a ton of major league.
A lot of star-studded. There's probably a couple of those guys can still play too.
Coaching and managing experience. You got Tiger Peterson, Jock's brother, part of the coaching staff. Britton goes down swinging.
That's a typical Richard Blair right there. I mean, usually what he does, kind of mows you down. It's a good two-seamer right there. Very good pitch. Most of the time, Richard Blair, he was used in that 7th, 8th inning role last year with the Marlins. Guy that did an outstanding job. 3.16 ERA and 122 innings pitched. That's a lot of innings pitched.
Gets that one by Juan Diego Montes, leadoff hitter, 1 for 3 today. Flyer got traded in January.
Yeah.
To the Red Sox, so this will not be his home ballpark anymore.
For Matt Barnes.
Very different style reliever. 0-2.
Pitch right there, down and away. That's the difference in an at-bat right there. I mean, it's the difference in being 1-1 and 0-2. You know, you got battle. You can battle your way into a good count 1-1, but when you get them 0-2 like that on a pitch down and away, oh man, you're in against the rails right now.
He struck him out. Montez chased there. 2 down.
You can tell that's a veteran, and Richard Blair using the aggressiveness. Once he gets you 0-2 and he paints that ball down and away, he'll go up the ladder and tease you right there with that cutter. He wanted it more down and in, but missed out over the plate. Very stress-free couple batters for Richard Blair.
Now Leighton, who knocked in the only run of the game, hits this one out towards right center. Jock on the move, and he'll go into a slide and make the catch.
Nice play.
Good play, Jock Peterson in center field. Quick inning for Richard Flyer. Nicaragua, though, still leads 1-0. Nicaragua 2 innings away from their first win in their World Baseball Classic history. They lead 1-0. Isaac Bernard takes over in left field, and guess who is on the mound now? The best player, most accomplished pitcher on this Nicaraguan roster. Their fans went nuts when Jonathan Loaizaga came out of their bullpen.
Oh, he's been nasty. We'll check out a little bit of stuff from his Yankees, and we know about the explosive fastball that he throws, but he's got that secondary stuff, and it's a dandy. It's a good changeup. It's a good slider. It's a nasty two-seamer. Jonathan Loaizaga, if not one of the toughest relievers in our game today, will look to hopefully have a couple innings under his belt and do some damage and get Nicaragua their first win in the World Baseball Classic.
Had an unusually tough start to last year, then was his normal self down the stretch. And we'll see if he's got the ability, the leash to go the rest of the way. First pitch swing, Matt Mervis. Tough assignment for young Matt. 97 miles an hour, strike one.
It's going to be 96, 98, but his best pitch is that changeup. He can throw it whenever he wants. Opponents are hitting 152 off of it. It's nasty.
The 0-1. Mervis hits that one down the left field line. Another swing where he was late. Foul ball, 0-2.
We talk about Dennis Martinez throwing on the first pitch. Loaizaga idolized Dennis Martinez.
It's got to be a big day for him, pitching for his country with his baseball hero in the stands to watch him pitch. The 0-2. Up and away with a fastball.
And when he came into the game and they saw him running out from right field, the whole stadium lit up. They've been waiting 2.5 hours for this guy to throw.
And their fans are all standing. 6 outs away from a win in the World Baseball Classic. Changeup, good take.
That's a very good take right there. That's a professional take. I don't know if Loaizaga likes to repeat that or go just mano a mano and go up the ladder on him. I like the changeup again.
Two-two. On the ground to second. Blandino scoops it up, 1 away.
That's a lot of nasty movement right there on that two-seamer at 98 miles an hour. Too much sink, too much dive for Mervis.
who had a pretty darn good at bat.
Yep.
But ultimately he grounds out. Israel's running out of outs. Alex Dickerson has 1 of their 4 hits.
Well, we know Dickerson likes the heater. If he's a fastball, he'll be swinging.
He can definitely run into one too. He lines that one the other way into left field, base hit. So Alex Dickerson on base for the 3rd time, his 2nd hit of the day.
They didn't try to do too much right there. Very easily you could have rolled over that pitch if you're trying to cheat. Look how he stays through it. Look at his back elbow, how connected it is. There it is. That's how you stay connected. That's how you stay through a baseball. That's how you see it deep and go get yourself a knock in the 5-hole.
Ian Kinsler, the manager for Israel, sends up his leader, his veteran, for the 4th time. Lavarnway's been the guy in the middle of everything, and he's 0 for 3.
Situation right here where I would look to pinch run for Dickerson.
And Dickerson not real fast. That was a swing. It's 0-1. And who knows, maybe if Dickerson makes it to 2nd and is in a spot where you're a base hit away from tying the game. I get your point, though. I'm sure that they're thinking about it, or did think about it.
Or anything's possible. A ball down the line.
Yeah. 0-2. It's so hard to string together hits against a guy as good as Loaizaga.
So you would think the 2-seamer, he's going to stay with that 2-seamer. Trying to get him to ground out right here.
Barnway. He got hit. Another hit batter. That's the 4th of the game for a Nicaragua pitcher. And that does move the tying run into scoring position.
I think at some point here, you got to think about their runners.
And I think they are going to use that runner here. I think this is the last player available on the bench for Israel.
Yeah.
So they're using that player right here, right now.
Well, it's the right move. I mean, any base hit right now, there's going to be a play at the plate. And if you're the outfielders, you're playing no doubles, right? So a base hit, you just want to get that ball to 2nd base. Make sure that runner at 1st base doesn't reach 3rd base. Initially, you're playing basically for the tie.
That's the last move on the position player side to make for Israel. Good swing on the first pitch. Spencer Horwitz fouled it back.
In this situation in the 8th inning, I know it's dicey, very dicey, but I would rather have the outfielders play in. I mean, you have the lead right now. It's been very hard to score runs. I would play like it's do or die in the 9th inning. But those are gambles you take.
That one is lined, and a foul ball. Just foul. Goldfarb was off and running. He was going to tie the game, and who knows after that.
Oh my goodness, this missed by a foot or 2 at most. Look how close this gets to being a go-ahead double, possibly triple. Oh, he knows it.
Just a fraction too quick. So now behind in the count, 0-2.
Oh, we know
Horwitz.
Their defense has been reliable today. Loaizaga needs to trust his defense.
Time at home plate. She did not like that timeout. She wants to see Loaizaga throw another pitch. Oh, 2. 97, but not particularly close. I'll tell you what, Spencer Horwitz, never been a big leaguer, still a prospect in the Blue Jays system. You see his minor league numbers in 3 years. Looks pretty comfortable against a guy as good as Loaizaga.
He's thrown some tough pitches. You know, that changeup is the equalizer.
Here's the 1-2. Fouled back.
Those are healthy cuts with 2 strikes on that fastball. He's seeing that fastball. I mean, the windows are very easy here. You can go and freeze him, front door him right now with 97, or you can throw that changeup. I think the changeup is the pitch, and you want to throw that changeup to strike to ball ratio. You don't want to throw it for a strike. You want to use his aggressiveness. You sped him up twice already at 97. Use that changeup. Trust your defense, Loaizaga.
Lined, sinking, and it gets down, base hit. Here comes a pinch runner, Goldfarb. Here comes a throw way over the head of the catcher all the way to the backstop. Israel's tied the game, and now they're set up to go ahead. Second and third after the wild throw.
What an at-bat. What a moment. Horwitz delivers. We talked about it, hasn't had big league experience, but boy, what a moment for Horwitz right now. Threw him to way too many fastballs, in my opinion. Stayed through that baseball. Got the pitch he wanted up in the zone.
I mean, the throw from Isaac Bernard, who just came in the game, was not even close. Look at the determination from Jacob Goldfarb. They used the pinch runner in a very big spot, and it worked. So now a meeting on the mound. I mean, who would have ever thought that the ultimate weapon for Nicaragua would come in, and that's when Israel's offense would come to life.
Oh, man. Tough situation for Nicaragua, but if you are Nicaragua, you got your best arm on the mound. You have to minimize as much as possible. It's got to be a tie ball game, and that's it.
Well, and here's where you got to set your defense up aggressively. So the infield's going to have to come in.
In my opinion, I will walk him. I would have a force out on any base right now, because a hard ground ball on this turf, the field is very fast.
And I'm walking at Mendlinger, left-handed hitter, and he lines that one foul. Just trying to serve that one into left field. A base hit is going to put Israel ahead.
Well, the righty-righty situation is ideal for me.
You got Wilansky, who hasn't had an at-bat yet in the game. He's the on-deck hitter after coming in for defense. Now time, and they are going to walk. Wow, after a strike. And Mendlinger with some feisty words for his teammate, trying to make Nicaragua pay for that strategy. And now, I mean, there's lots of pros and cons when you make that decision. The con is there's nowhere to put Wilansky. If you hit him, if you walk him, Israel leads. Bases loaded, 1 out. Little soft roller. Loaizaga, bare hand, flips home, and they get the out there. And that's it. The takeout of the catcher with his foot on the plate. And I think Nicaragua is going to at least ask the umpires to consider whether they might rule a double play here. Novoa got up a little slowly, and the Nicaraguan fans don't like it.
What's the situation right here on this slow roller? Loaizaga does the right thing, goes to home plate. It's very hard to overturn that into a double play. It was a bad toss that led him into the lane.
Yeah,
and Lavarnway just dove right at home plate. I mean, there's not much. It's an unfortunate situation. I know the umpires are getting together right now, but it was a bad toss that led into that dive.
Yeah, there was nothing illegal about that slide. Foot straight to the plate, just clipped the foot of the catcher Novoa. And look, you're the manager of Nicaragua. You're allowed to ask him to talk about it. I understand why you would. If they ruled it an illegal slide and ruled the double play.
You know, and then one thing too is catcher on catcher. You know, he knows the rule. He wouldn't want to do that to his partner mate. But you know, you're playing baseball in a tight race right now in this tournament. It's a must-win situation. I felt like it was clean. I didn't think much of it. Can they review this? They will.
So first they talk about it, and Ron Copa is going to put the earpiece in. This will be our first review in Pool D in 2 days. And Kinsler's wondering what's going on.
Well, we see that bad toss right there, and his right leg kind of runs into the lane of Lavarnway. That was a tough play right there. I think his shoe came off. My question is, was there even a play at first base? Right, we got a speedy runner. Was the attempt was to throw to first base, maybe a fake throw to throw it over to third?
But I don't think that's part of the calculus for the umpires in the review. I mean, there at least was enough of an opportunity to consider making that throw. If the call just stays the way it was made on the field, which is what I think will happen, the bases would be loaded for Garret Stubbs.
2 outs.
With 2 outs. Now Nicaragua preserves the tie. Spencer Horwitz with a huge hit against Loaizaga to tie the game up.
Another thing with Loaizaga, if they do get out of this inning, that's 16 pitches thrown already.
And a delay. Now the fans here are getting impatient.
All right. I think it was a fair play.
So no announcement made here in the ballpark, but they reviewed it. It was a legal slide. Play on. Bases loaded, 2 down.
Well, one thing's for certain, you got speed everywhere, right? You got to trust your infield. You got to trust your pitches. You got an out anywhere, right? There's a force anywhere. You don't necessarily have to throw the baseball across the first base. Those are things that are going on in your clock right now if you're an infielder.
Stubbs 1 for 4 with an infield hit. Last time up had a good at bat and lined out. Israel needs a huge hit to go ahead. Nicaragua trying to keep it tied.
Outside.
Ball 1 outside at 96 miles an hour.
Well, Loaizaga, when he's fell through like that 1-0, he usually comes right back with that fastball again. See if he makes any adjustments right now. The lefty hitters for Israel have been ready. They've used the whole field.
A little late with that swing, 1-1.
Yeah, but it's the right approach. You'd rather be late like that. You'd rather your foul balls be to the third base side. That means you're seeing it deep. If any foul balls to the first base side, that means you're cheating. Loaizaga will feast on that with changeups.
The 1-1. Stubbs fouled it straight back.
That's that pitch, and you're not going to get another one like that. Loaizaga's too good. He won't give it to you. This is it. You got to fight now and grind away the at-bat.
See if we see that monster changeup here. Trying to get through the jam, keep it tied. The 1-2. Foul back. Stayed with a fastball, and he got Stubbs to expand.
Well, he's throwing a lot of fastball, even with the base hit. I think it was one too many fastballs.
Well, clearly that's the pitch, though, that right now he's feeling most comfortable with.
Why not when you're throwing 98?
Another 1-2 from Loaizaga. That is a ball.
What's that changeup?
The strike zone has definitely changed.
It was a ball. It was up. But you know what? As a hitter, I always felt like if you get called up on a changeup or an off-speed up, that was my fault. I should be swinging at those pitches.
Now it's 2-2. Stubbs to left field. Bernard going back. Still going back. He can't get there. One hop on the warning track and up over the wall. And 2 runs will score. Israel goes ahead 3-1.
Oh, Garret Stubbs, Garret Stubbs. Have yourself a day, young man. Have yourself a day.
What a great at-bat from Stubbs.
He got another fastball. He did not miss it. That's what you want to do as a left-hander when you're facing a guy like Loaizaga with that heavy sink and that heavy run. You want to see it as deep as possible. We see that heavy sinker right there. He did not miss it. Look how connected he is. He knows that as soon as he hits it, he's barreled it. It's a ground rule double. What a moment for Stubbs and the Israeli team.
Hey, you made a good point in the middle of that at bat. Allow yourself to be just a little bit late on the fastball. Use left field as a left-handed hitter. Now the pitch gets, I must have gotten a piece of Geloff. I don't know. Or maybe the runner at third just didn't get a good enough read because he stayed put there. Wielansky, it did not hit Geloff. I just couldn't believe that Wielansky wasn't going to try to score after that ball got away. Maybe his vision was blocked.
Oh, I think
off.
that hit his jersey. You know, one thing I've noticed about Israelis, you know, we talked about the analytics department and how good they were defensively, but what a job they've done offensively. I mean, all the plans have been the right plans. The left-handers have done the right thing against guys like Loaizaga. The right-handers have done what they need to do. You see Kevin Youkilis right there in the backdrop, and he's been all communication the whole game. I mean, he's been with his hitters, communicating the whole time. No, the little things are what matters here. And you see all these left-handed hitters and how they approach Loaizaga, even the right-handers. It was to grind and fight away those two-seamers off the hands, but you know, we're seeing it right now. It's been a smartly kind of approach against Loaizaga.
That's a strike right down the middle, and the count is 2-2. So now the tables have turned.
Yeah.
Nicaragua had the lead. They bring in their best guy, and instead Israel with the tremendous rally here in the bottom of the 8th, and now they are 3 outs away from winning this game. 2-2.
And also defensive situation of Bernard, probably your worst outfielder, gets put in left field. Guess what? Everything has happened over there to the left side. I would rather put my best when I'm facing a guy like Loaizaga, and a lot of left-handers are in a lineup like the Israelis have. Well, that's the game of baseball.
The throw got away. That helped build the rally, and then he couldn't get back to that ball. Geloff on the ground to third. The throw across the diamond is there for out number 3. But a 3-run rally against one of the best relievers in the world. Wow, what a rally for Israel. They take the lead 3 outs away from a win here in Pool D. Wow, what a game we've had here in this World Baseball Classic in Miami, and an incredible rally for Israel. Goldfarb, who is a second catcher for Israel, he's playing right field now after coming in as the pinch runner for Alex Dickerson, and Robert Stock is going to try to get the final 3 outs here. Israel was down 1-0. They rally. Now they lead 3-1. Last year pitched in Korea. He's got a good amount of big league experience. Robert Stock.
Talk about the 72 innings in Major League Baseball since 2018 and 2021 with the Padres, Red Sox, Cubs, Mets. He's a mostly four-seamer changeup slider cutter guy.
And he's going through the heart of the order. Ground ball to short, kind of tough hop. Picked up the throw, got it.
That's how you stay with it right there. That's how you stay square to the baseball on a ground ball. Hits your chest, no panic. Use your feet. Look how he composes himself, uses his feet, and fires it to first base.
Wielansky, who didn't start at short, came in for defense after they used another pinch hitter. The bench has been a factor for Ian Kinsler's Israel team today. They've gone through all their position players, and it served them well. 95 miles an hour for strike 1 to Chesler Cuthbert.
Well, they have a catcher at third base, a catcher catching, and a catcher in right field. Let's talk about analytics. Those are ball players right there. There's no analytics with that.
You got to do what you got to do.
Oh,
Call the ball. I don't know that I can remember a game where a strike zone has changed more from start to finish than this one.
I think the catchers had a lot to do with that. They were chirping. I know Barnway got away with a few there where he was hitting.
Well, that one was called to strike. Very similar pitch to the one prior. Now it's 1-2. I think they both were strikes.
We got to be careful with Cover here, throwing him another slider. He's seen 2 in a row.
1-2. He threw him, and did he go? Yes, he did. That was a swing. Strike 3. Nicaragua's down to their final out.
Steady diet of breaking balls right there for Cover. We've seen that even in the first game against Puerto Rico. A lot of sliders, a lot of breaking balls. Couldn't hold up right there. See that tight slurve? It's a good pitch. Strike 2 ball. Barnway knew it.
So Robert Stock 1 out away from getting Israel another World Baseball Classic win. Just outside for ball 1. They were, I think, in a lot of ways the surprise team back in 2017. They won 4 games. All 3 in their first round. And then in the second round they beat Cuba.
Yep.
Now today trying to take down Nicaragua as they get their 2023 World Baseball Classic started. Last chance, Miranda, who homered yesterday, takes a strike. Robert Stock looks pretty calm and comfortable.
Stress-free, I'll tell you that. Closer mentality, closer feel.
The 1-1. Fastball, strike 2. Nicaragua's down to their final strike. One-two pitch. Slider struck him out swinging.
Effortless.
What an inning for Robert Stock, and what a win for Israel. Now that's hard to believe. They would be down against Loaizaga late, struggling on offense all game, and come from behind against one of the toughest guys in the sport and finish it off in style with that strikeout.
You gotta give credit to Israel and what they've done. How about their bullpen and their starting pitching? Only 1 earned throughout this whole game. 4 hits. They put them down. I mean, it was all pitching and defense and timely hitting for Israel.
Yeah, pitching, hitting, defense. It was an all-around performance, and I still think the headliner is the ability to get it done against Jonathan Loaizaga.
Unbelievable.
Nicaragua had it set up exactly the way they wanted, and it just did not work out. It happens in this sport. That is a tough loss for Nicaragua, looking for their first ever World Baseball Classic win. They'll still be waiting. A really fun game.
I got to give it to you. A lot of excitement, a lot of clean baseball, good pitching, good base running, good defense, and here we are. Israel keeps going up 1-0.
So another game still to come at 7 Eastern tonight back here in Miami. We'll be with you. Venezuela, Puerto Rico. Can't wait for that one. For Yonder Alonso and our entire crew, Dave Fleming saying so long. We'll see you later tonight here in Miami. Thanks for watching this presentation of the World Baseball Classic.